Hot take, but can we talk about how the Chinese healthcare system is better than America's? Like, have you seen the bills that Americans get after a hospital visit? That's bankruptcy in a PDF.
Why do you think that China has products and services and technology that's outpacing the United States significantly to an embarrassing level? It's because these companies in the United States, these corporations, are operating like a pyramid scheme. Have you ever noticed that our products are getting cheaper and more breakable and barely last before you have to send them off in the trash and get rid of them?
So wait, let me get this straight. For years, we've been called conspiracy theorists about big corporations just slapping the Made in America or Made in France logos on everything. And all of these products were actually made in China.
China holds America's economy in its hands.
Imagine voting tough on China just to end up paying more for socks, cereal, and soap at Walmart.
Hey, besties. Grab your snacks and settle in because today's episode is going to ruffle some feathers. We're diving deep into the geopolitical tea that nobody wants to talk about, how China has quietly but powerfully transformed into the global powerhouse while America is still trying to play catch-up. It's not just about who's richer or stronger. It's about innovation, resilience, and how one nation adapted while the other got stuck in its own arrogance. And honestly, America seems more scared of competition than willing to improve. From banning Chinese tech to crying foul over trade rules they themselves set, it's giving insecure X energy. So let's break this down, because the world order is shifting fast, and not everyone is ready for that conversation.
Why do you think that China has products and services and technology that's outpacing the United States significantly to an embarrassing level? It's because these companies in the United States, these corporations, are operating like a pyramid scheme. Have you ever noticed that our products are getting cheaper and more breakable and barely last before you have to send them off in the trash and get rid of them? It's because the product or the service, it doesn't matter. They're just trying to get into your wallets. Don't forget, they're also operating like a pyramid scheme with their employment. Have you noticed that they make all of these promises that you could rise to the top, that you can just climb this ladder? It's not a ladder, it's a pyramid, and they're certain that you're not going to get to the top. Just their favorite people and Nepo babies are getting to the top. And they are just going to continue to recruit and spit people out. And the entire premise is that there's an endless amount of resources and there's an endless amount of revenue that can be made. And that's not sustainable. That's a total lie, and it's going to collapse. If you think that working in corporate America is a safe bet, all you're doing is putting all your eggs in a basket of people that do not care about you and will throw you away without blinking an eye.
The US has now completely lost the export of soybeans to China. China will now be getting all their soybeans from Brazil. You don't understand the significance of Brazil. Brazil is China's top partner in BRICS, okay? And BRICS is significantly a new superpower coming to place. And what does that mean? China is now looking after their own, and Brazil is now being taken care of. This will never be reversed because China wants longevity and they don't have a short attention span like the US.
Let's start with the basics. Over the past 3 decades, China has been working silently but strategically. While the West dismissed it as a cheap manufacturing hub, China was busy building infrastructure, investing in high-speed rail, solar energy, AI research, and education. Their Belt and Road Initiative alone is one of the most ambitious global infrastructure plans ever launched. While America argued over roads and bridges, China built them, domestically and globally. They didn't talk about innovation. They did it. Now they've got smart cities, 5G infrastructure, and a space station while America is still patching potholes and arguing over healthcare.
So wait, let me get this straight. For years, we've been called conspiracy theorists about big corporations just slapping the Made in America or Made in France logos on everything. And all of these products were actually made in China. And now, Chinese manufacturers, they are straight up exposing them. Posting videos, receipts, factory floor footage, it's all out there. Turns out that $800 handbag, that luxury serum, artisan cookware, yeah, that all costs $7 to make in China. Your favorite woke corporation, they just slap their logo on it and sell it back to you for 100 times the regular price. And here's the kicker. The same corporations are out here crying about Trump's tariffs, claiming it would ruin business. You know what ruined business is out here lying to Americans while outsourcing jobs, exploiting labor, and, well, pretending to be premium brand. Now, the Chinese manufacturers, they are cutting the middleman and they are going straight to the source, the American people. Yes, you have to order in bulk like 100 plus units, but they're offering the transparency in the US that corporations are refusing to give. Here's the truth. Trump's tariffs, they didn't hurt the American consumer. They hurt globalist corporations who are overcharging Americans, all while profiting off of huge profits by cheap labor. And now they're getting exploited by the very factories they exploited themselves. So if you're a small business owner, this is your moment. You could work directly with suppliers, you could build your own brand, and cut all the corporate snakes out of the equation. Just know what you're doing, because not everything is worth buying in bulk. But hey, the opportunity's there, right? Tariffs didn't fail, greed did. And Trump warned us. Now it's all coming to light.
China holds America's economy in its hands. I'm going to tell you why. This isn't clickbait. This is real. Other nations like China hold parts of the United States Treasury through bonds. Seismic amounts. If all of these nations decided to sell their bonds, it could potentially put America's economy in freefall, which would affect everything dealing with the US dollar. Which leads me to this point. What would happen if Bitcoin truly is seen as digital gold and is a deflationary asset in this time? People who have the ability and the understanding of Bitcoin with hardware wallets, with understanding by way of books, these are the people that are going to be able to make the switch. But for people who kept waving it off, saying, oh, this isn't really anything, it's a scam, it's something that got a few people rich, but the boat has sailed, for me, those are the people that are going to be hurt the most. So I want you to take time and really consider, if the American dollar started to free fall and everything that you've worked for your entire life, valuation of homes, business equity, stocks, all of these things started to plummet, do you have an out? Do you have a plan B? My suggestion is for you to do your own research and to consider that plan B is Bitcoin.
China innovates. America complains. That's the blunt truth. Every time a Chinese company like Huawei, ZTE, or BYD gains international traction, what's America's response? Ban it. Sanction it. Call it a national security threat. But is it really about national security, or is it economic insecurity? Let's be real. Huawei built better, cheaper 5G networks. BYD is producing electric vehicles at scale and exporting them globally, while American automakers are still struggling to meet their own goals. The moment China leads in any field, the US cries foul. But instead of competing, America whines and tries to block the competition.
Hot take, but can we talk about how the Chinese healthcare system is better than America's? Like, have you seen the bills that Americans get after a hospital visit? That's bankruptcy in a PDF. Like in China, you can literally walk in, get treated, and not need to sell a kidney to pay for it. Like imagine that, affordable and efficient, and you don't need to call your insurance company 15 times just to understand what is covered. Meanwhile, in America, we're paying $500 for a Band-Aid and need to wait 6 months to see a specialist. Like, what is this? A luxurious spa or a healthcare system? So yeah, while America has the best healthcare, only if you're wealthy. But for the rest of us, yeah, China's winning. Bye.
Hello from China. Let me show you the United States products in my home. Nothing. Do you have something from China in your home?
Hello from the US. I got you. I'm going to show you everything in my house from China. This phone I'm recording this video on, that's from China. This mirror, that's from China. This digital picture frame, that's from China. This dog guitar, that's from China. Entertainment system, TV, all from almost everything in the sunroom, all from China. Any designer outfit in my closet or the shoes, all from China. My laptop, my PS5, and my PS4. Basically, in case you haven't figured it out, almost everything in my house is from China. It's almost as if we are dependent on them for a lot of the goods that we take for granted. But here we are. It's crazy. We're critical of a country that we are heavily dependent on for a lot of our goods. But yeah, that's everything that's in my house from China, which would be everything. Have a blessed day.
Now let's get into the trade war. Remember when America launched a full-blown economic assault on China with tariffs, hoping to bring manufacturing back and decouple? Well, newsflash, it backfired. American farmers got crushed, consumer prices went up, and China just pivoted. They built stronger ties with Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The yuan is being used more in international trade, and companies like Tesla and Apple still rely on Chinese factories. While America tried to play economic hardball, China simply diversified its markets and doubled down on tech and production. The trade war wasn't a victory for America. It was a masterclass in resilience for China.
Really cool article talking about how China's ready for Trump. I believe it's written by Yun Sun. Hopefully I pronounced that right. The article talks about how China's being strategic, investing where necessary, and just outcompeting the US, and also showing up its domestic production given the policies of the Trump administration. But one thing I thought was funny. A couple paragraphs in, they think that Trump's policies will undermine U.S. power and reduce U.S. global standing in the long run. And when that happens, China wants to be ready to take advantage. And this is entertaining because this is from 11 fucking years ago. China hopes to use Trump's policies to its own advantage. Chinese leaders could use a U.S.-instigated trade war to rally domestic interest groups around meaningful reforms at home and other countries who the U.S. has alienated. Beijing assumes that Washington's own policies will dismantle the foundations of U.S. global hegemony, even if it creates a lot of turbulence for other countries in the process. China's top priority to them is simply to weather the storm. It's literally the fucking meme! The balance of trade over the last 20 years has completely shifted, and now it is overwhelmingly favored toward China. I hate to say the Onion was right, but they're right here. Trump's instigation of trade wars and sanctioning of countries that do anything to make him unhappy is going to send people running over to China. If you're playing and the person tells you to get off their lawn, you don't stop playing the game you're playing, you just go over into the neighbor's yard instead.
Trump lost us the trade war. I told you guys so. I had a lot of naysayers. Just look back a few weeks ago. My post about China is going to win the trade war. They won. Make no mistake, they won. So basically, Trump got rid of the 145% tariff, dropped it down to 30, and then they're doing like a 90-day, trial, whatever you want to call it. And then, it'll all be equalized as it was the way before. And Trump did not win. He blinked. But he never wants to change anything right away because that's failure for him. So he's sort of easing his way into it. But China won the trade war. Go look back at my videos. And for all you naysayers, I told you so. China held all the cards. They held all the cards. And we are beholden to them. But that's not our fault. That's all the previous administrations going way, 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 way back. It's also the companies that were looking to cut costs and they moved overseas. And Trump thought he could just come along and fix the problem. But the way he's running the government, he'll never fix those kind of problems.
Let's not forget the chaos at home. America is dealing with inflation, a crumbling healthcare system, student debt, and homelessness. Most Americans are working multiple jobs just to survive, and the middle class is disappearing. How do you compete globally when your own citizens can't afford rent or healthcare? Meanwhile, China has lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty, built entire cities in less than a decade, and created a sense of national unity around economic growth. America keeps saying it's the greatest country in the world, but greatness isn't just about slogans. It's about results, and China's results are speaking louder than any American politician right now.
Imagine voting tough on China just to end up paying more for socks, cereal, and soap at Walmart. Now, Walmart says that prices are about to rise indefinitely. And you know why? Tariffs, beloved. Now, you might have heard that word tossed around like it's no big deal. But every time the government plays tough and they want to slap tariffs on stuff, it's not the billionaires who feel that. It's you paying $9.98 for eggs and $25 for detergent. See, these politicians want to look like they're protecting American jobs, but they're not protecting your wallet. They're playing games with global economics while you're just trying to figure out how to have enough gas in your car to get back and forth to work for the week. Tariffs sound patriotic, but they're really just a hidden tax on you. And the same folks pushing these tariffs, they're the ones giving tax cuts to billionaires, and they don't even shop at Walmart. This is exactly what bad leadership looks like. It's not just dysfunction in DC, it's inflation in aisle 9. It's your paycheck getting smaller while the receipts get longer. And the worst part, they'll blame you for not budgeting better. If you're tired of paying the price for bad decisions, speak on it. Share this. Comment on what item you've stopped buying because it's just too daggone high. Let's call it out together.
So we got played by China, and my question is, for what? Why did we have to put small businesses through all of this drama? Why? What was the purpose? See all this macho man Randy Savage, puff out your chest, oh, I am man stupidness? Look what it got us. But I know why we bow. I know why we came to China. Yeah, we saw no ships coming in from China to the ports. And we were going back to pandemic levels, and this administration, Mr. Card probably had flashbacks to 2020 and said, no, we can't go back there. No, we can't get back there. We gotta meet. This is so sorry. Why did we do this, America? Why did we vote for foolishness? This is outrageous. I'm sorry. Now let me know if I'm off. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. But we went right back to the same levels. Oh, great, Mr. Card. You look real strong and macho. I'm sick of this.
Let's wrap this up by talking about karma. For decades, America dictated the rules of global trade, bullied developing nations, and used sanctions like candy. But now the tables are turning. China is beating America at the very game it created. They're not just catching up, they're leading. And what's America's response? Fear. That's why we see bans on TikTok, demonization of Chinese products, and constant political fear-mongering. But maybe this is karma. Maybe this is what happens when you stop evolving and start believing your own hype. China didn't just challenge America. It exposed it. And the world is watching. So besties, that's the tea. While America is clinging to the past, China is building the future. This isn't just about East versus West. It's about who's prepared, who's strategic, and who's willing to adapt. The world is changing, and the power balance is shifting whether we like it or not. And the truth? China's not coming. They're already here. Adios, besties. Stay informed and stay spicy.